I don't think James Shaw has yet managed to fix this problem that he has created. He's clearly scrambling to find a solution, and so far that solution seems to be reclassifying the $12 million for the Green School as not a grant but as a loan, but that is not going to solve much because it doesn't really matter what he calls it. I mean, he can call it a grant, he can call it a loan, he can call it fairy dust if he wants to. The fact is that that is money that is still allocated to the Green School, which means it isn't available for other schools that might need it more desperately. And it doesn't really matter whether, as James Shaw argues, this comes from the infrastructure pot or the education pot. In the end, it all comes from the taxpayer pot. And if you take $12 million out to give to the kooky school, you don't have it for anything else, and that is called opportunity cost. So this attempt to change the terms of the deal is probably not going to totally placate unions or teachers or schools who will watch a private crystal school get built for kids of wealthy families while other Taranaki kids get taught in damp classrooms. That's not going to be okay with them. And that's actually, that's not James Shaw's biggest problem right now. His biggest problem is what he's done to his party ahead of an already difficult election. The Greens were already scrapping hard for the necessary 5% to get them back into Parliament. They've lost voters to Labour as it's kind of out-greened them with moves like the oil and gas ban. The popularity of Jacinda Ardern makes it hard to win those voters back. And they're now getting drowned out by COVID-19 like most other small parties. This, what James Shaw has done, just makes it that much harder for them. Up to now, I'd been pretty confident that it didn't really matter too much where the Greens were polling, because on the night I thought their supporters would flock back to save them. But now you've got to ask whether those supporters think that they deserve saving, because this is not like the Materia Ture benefit fraud stuff from 2017 when they nosedived in the polls but got saved by the supporters anyway. Plenty of those supporters backed Materia Ture's position on principle. They thought she'd done the right thing. This, though, goes against their principles. You have to almost feel sorry for James Shaw today. I mean, imagine being the guy who made a hard-to-survive election that much harder to survive. Worst case scenario, imagine if he's the guy who made the mistake big enough to lose the Greens their place in Parliament altogether.